I'm Kinga. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm happy to be joining you today to share my story. I'm one of the authors in the When Hearts Heal book. And I am so proud that I could have been a part of this wonderful story, of this wonderful journey with all the other women and men that have been in this group. We've had the chance to not only share our story, but also show how much can change if you start healing your heart. I do have a presentation to share with you, so hopefully you'll be able to gain a little more understanding about my part of work and why did I choose to heal my voice. Even the color that I chose today has a reason behind it. The blue is responsible for the heart, for the throat chakra, and since the throat, the voice is very important to me, I've decided to choose blue just to show you the significance of this journey. So obviously I was the part of writing the book. So I'm one of the authors. I wrote about the heart of reclaiming your voice. The reason why it's so important to me is because I've worked with my voice and I've had issues with my voice for a very long time. I've been struggling with basically showing myself to the world. And it had nothing to do with being authentic, because I could be authentic. But the moment I spoke, at the moment I had to share my wisdom with people, whether written or spoken, that's when it became an issue. So on a logical level, also on a confidence level, I was always considered quite a confident person. I was quite fearless. I was always making the first step. I wasn't afraid of moving forward, but there was still something. And I could see that I had repeatedly, over and over again, some issues with my throat. And when I say issues, it weren't small issues. I suffered with severe throat infections constantly, one after another, to the point where I almost lost my voice. That's when I was also told that I've got not necessarily tumors, but they were like cysts and sort of tumors on my vocal cords. And I was afraid that I will lose my voice, because when I realized that I was just about to lose it, that's when I've decided I'm going to reclaim my voice. What I mean by that is basically I've made a step forward to heal my voice. But a few words about me. I'm a spiritual business mentor. I'm a founder of Tree of Wisdom. Tree of Wisdom is a spiritual business that is very much based on astrology, combines human design, and it combines tarot readers. So I work on a Polish market. I live in Poland and I work with people from all over the world. I mean, those that do know, I do run my business in both languages. And I created Astro Healing, which basically combines heart healing, incorporates heart healing along with a chart interpretation. So on the basis of your chart, on your birth chart, I am capable of seeing what is going on with your psyche. And I can work on that. Quite often we're not really able to step forward and say, okay, this is what's been bugging me. And this is when the chart comes in, and it allows me to heal people to the point where to heal those wounds that they weren't even aware that they've had, or they weren't even aware that they can name them. So I help them to find whatever could have been an issue, and we can work with that. And astrology is a fantastic tool to actually share your knowledge, learn new things, learn more about yourself, realize more about yourselves. And heart healing was a perfect tool to incorporate. Why? Because it combines spiritual. It's not just another hypnosis. It's actually healing from the inside, the outside. It actually works on the part of your heart. And it's the same with a chart. It actually sees what is hidden to others. It heals and it shows what is hidden to yourself quite often. And ever since I've joined HeartHealers, I'm a level 1, level 2, level 3 heart healer, qualified heart healer. So I work on range of tools at the moment, and I became a spiritual businessman. In the meantime, I've just finalized and passed my exam as a mentor, so I am in the process of building another business that will allow me to help other people who are very much spiritual, a little bit esoteric, to build a business like my own. And when I say like my own, I've managed to hit 7 figures last year with my business. I was quite well off already when I joined HeartHealing, but it allowed me to actually go deeper and further in my business. And it basically allowed me to expand much, much more. But it all started somewhere. And where I am today is a result of how I started to feel a while back. So I was working on my feelings. I joined HeartHealing not only because I wanted to have a tool. So I didn't just sign up to become a practitioner just for no reason, but I was struggling with my own wounds. And in order to help others, quite often we have to heal ourselves. And that's where I started. So I started to change with HeartHealing how I felt about myself, about my business, about my past. So what I am today is a result of how I started, is a result of how I started to feel a while back. It's actually a choice. So it is a choice to make a step forward. And why the boys won't? Like I said, it all started with a word. When I was younger, I grew up in a countryside. Not only did I come from Poland, so obviously fish and children have no voice. This is actually a saying, this is actually a proverb in Poland that says that kids and fish have no voice. And it was quite often said to me that we're not allowed to speak up. And if I do speak up, it's irrelevant. So we are put in a corner. Kids in Poland, they used to be. I mean, it doesn't happen that much today, but I'm 41, nearly 42 already. So obviously it was a while back. But nevertheless, I grew up with a feeling, knowing that I can't be what I want to be, or I can't say what I want to say. And if I said something, I will be ridiculed. Or I could have been ridiculed. So this is something that I struggled for a very long time. And I had to heal that wound within myself in order to grow further, in order to actually take a step forward. So obviously, it started all with one word. It started off with one word that apparently I have no voice. It just kept on growing further after that. When I was older, I grew up in a family. I didn't have a traumatic experience with my childhood. Yes, I lived without my father, but I've had a grandfather who filled in his shoes. I've never actually felt left out. I never missed a dad. Well, not in my teenage years anyway. But I didn't come from what you would have called a traumatic experience. So my childhood was actually quite okay. I had my grandma, my mother, my grandfather, everything looked okay. But those are the words that I grew up with. And I had an uncle, my mom's brother, who was, he's 14 years older than me. And I was a chubby little kid from the very beginning, all my life. So he actually called me chubby. He made me feel like I don't look it. And when I say I don't look it, then obviously if I don't look well, or if I don't meet certain standards, then whatever I say is irrelevant. And he used one word that he used to call me. I don't think there is an exact translation of that, but anyway, it basically sounded like, well, you're not fat, you're basically that big. So it's not very rude, but it's definitely far from a perfect word. So apparently somebody who's been eating for a very long time, and for a very long time too much of eating. So obviously that's what it started with, and it just kept on growing. And I just noticed that it's not just what we say or how we say things. It's not just what we say, it's how we say. And it started to show up in my difficulty in speaking to people, but not speaking in general, because like I said, I was quite confident. But the moment I had to share my true self, telling my own story, or saying something that I felt quite strongly about, or writing, because I was quite afraid of writing. Because on top of that, I grew up in school, so we're in school in a very strict environment when it came to school. So, and I'm not much of a writer myself, but it's not that I can't share my ideas. Just because I don't feel like I'm a poetry writer doesn't mean that I can't share my ideas or can't share my story. But I felt that if I do, then obviously I will be judged. I will be ridiculed, or somebody will say that there is something wrong with me. I felt like I'm going to be put in a corner. I'm going to be called names yet again. And I was quite loud. Yes, I mean, everyone thinks that whenever it comes to a voice wound, everyone thinks like, oh my God, it's definitely something about you being too soft. No, I was loud. Everyone heard me. I wanted to be heard, but I still felt that no matter how loud, how outspoken I'm going to be, they still didn't felt the authority in what I said. I didn't feel I had the authority in what I was saying, what I was saying. Obviously, I was overthinking everything, not only before speaking, but after speaking. So I thought, I just kept on going through that in my head, thinking, oh, I could have said it better, or maybe this just didn't sound as good as it should have been. And I felt like even though I said something, quite often people didn't take that into account. And it was putting me down even further as a result of that. So quite often it's not just what you say. It's not about being quiet, loud. It's about how you feel about what you've said, how you feel about what has been just told to others, and how they respond to that. The stronger we feel within ourselves, the better the results in our talking. So obviously I felt that I was too loud, so obviously I should have been quieter. I was being mocked, not for speaking up, but for how I wrote things. You see, I do think quite fast. I am an ADHD diagnosed. I got diagnosed in my in my 40s, really. When I turned 41, I felt like I was losing my mind. So I decided to go and see the psychologist, and I was diagnosed ADHD. So obviously, for me to passing all my thoughts onto the piece of paper was difficult. Not because of that, not because that I wasn't able to say things. It's just that my hand wasn't fast enough to catch up with all my thoughts. Uh, thank God that we do have programs that record from what you say these days. But I felt that people say that I speak too fast and they can't follow me, or they can't follow what I said. I was being ridiculed for saying things in a funny way. So what I mean by that is, if you speak so fast, quite often you go like you make shortcuts in your words. So obviously they sounded funny and people were laughing at that. And I felt like even though I've had a lot to say, people didn't take that into account. Obviously, that difficulty kept on growing, kept on being bigger, kept on growing in even further. And the reason why healing is so important is, in my case, in case of my work, my voice is my power. I work online, I work in social media, I do have a YouTube channel, I work on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I do have a large audience. So your voice can be your power. It's a bridge between inner word and the outer word, like I said, but it also shows how much it's the first thing you actually do when you meet new people. It's one of the first things that you do. It's say hello. And how that hello comes across can mark how people will see you, whether they will see you as an authority, whether they will look at you from the point of respect, or whether you will feel suppressed by them. So your voice can be your power, and it is your power. The stronger you feel about speaking up, the better. And when you heal your voice, not only do you become magnetic, your clarity in what you say is so much better. You feel confident in expressing yourself. But most important, you can become quite influential. And I'm not going to lie, I do have a large audience of people. I'm currently being followed by approximately more than 300,000 people at the moment. So obviously it just keeps on growing even more and more every single month. So hopefully it just continues to grow. So I've built up not only my confidence, but I became quite influential. I've managed to go to places, I've managed to speak to people, I've managed to express myself and my idea of life. Um, and I've managed to be quite an inspiring person for people. The way I grew and the way I connected to my voice and its power created even stronger me in the end. And like I said, it wasn't about confidence because I felt confident, but I felt like the way I say things are completely misunderstood. So I needed to make myself stronger, but from the within in order for it to show outside. So the reason why we heal that is it allows us not only to become stronger, but it also allows us to show what we have to offer, what we can share with others. We've all got our own experiences. We all have our own story to share. We all have our own thoughts, ideas, even values that can be very beneficial to others. And obviously, if we don't speak up, they will be lost and forgotten, whereas they could change somebody else's life. Sometimes I quite often say that I'm a person of one word. I do, whenever I spoke with a mentor, whenever I spoke with a coach, quite often it was just one sentence, one word that could have changed the way I perceived our discussion. Why? Because sometimes one word, one sentence can have a massive effect. But in order to share that sentence, in order to share that word with others, you need to feel confident. You need to feel the strength within yourself in order for it to show outside. So obviously, if you continue to work on that, not only do you become confident, but you actually gain more awareness. And this is something what happened to me. I've actually recognized that my experiences and my story is valuable. I've started to share my story, not only my past, but actually my current situation. And ever since I've healed my voice, I've actually lost 22 kilo, which is about three stone, something like that, or maybe more, about a little bit more than 3 stone. 22 kilo is a lot of weight. So I've dropped my sizes from a size 16 to a size 10, 12-ish at the moment. And I've decided to have a operation to a plastic surgery that I've always wanted to have, and it was years and years. But now that I was aware of what I am, how I feel, and I wasn't shaped by fear, it was completely different. It's my clarity, my awareness of myself, my acceptance of myself, my how I actually passed it on to my family, saying, "This is what I want." I felt, I knew, I truly believe in what I say. And I've managed to release and let go of any shame, any guilt for wanting that, for actually wanting to say that out loud. Because quite often we think we want things, but we don't actually do them, or we don't say that we want them. We don't want to share that with others. So I've managed to release any fear, any guilt for wanting to look good. Because quite often we feel guilty. Oh, I want to have, I don't know, a thinner waist, or I want to have a bigger bum, or I want to have bigger boobs. And that's okay. That's okay. Accepting yourself on even improving anything in yourself, if you feel that it is for your own improvement, then that's absolutely fine. You don't have to explain yourself if you feel okay with that. Not everyone does that because they feel so bad about themselves. Oh, I'm happy with my body today. Well, I'd be happier if I had something to it, if you know what I mean. And I kept on practicing how I put across my message. And I've noticed that I used to record a lot of things with me talking, and that kept on going fantastic. But whenever I had to write something down, that was like, oh, that feels a little bit shaky. So it took me a while to actually practice that and to practice to write my own words, write my own content, and actually become more authentic in my communication in writing as well, which I practiced. And even if it had mistakes, even if it didn't sound perfect, it was mine. It was very authentic to me. And I kept on speaking to people, sharing my ideas. And ever since, I've actually embodied that as a part of my own body. What I mean by that is I breathe better. My posture is different. My vocal cords are stronger. And as a result of that, like I've mentioned before, I've had problems with my vocal cords for all my life. So obviously, I was getting ill. I almost lost my voice a couple of years ago. I went to see the doctor at the beginning of this year to double check how those tumors, those cysts, everything that was on my voice cords looked, whether there was anything that I need to keep an eye out for. And she looked at it, she double checked, she checked twice, and she's like, they're gone. They're gone. It's like they basically got sucked in. And they didn't get sucked in, not because of any medication. It's because when you start reinforce the belief that your voice matters, everything in your body follows. So how can your voice matter if you can't express your voice? If your body stops you from doing that? And you see, from the total biology, it says that if you do constantly have something to do, if you struggle with your throat, or if you struggle with speaking with your voice, or you keep on losing your voice, that usually means that there is something that there's something that was left unspoken. There is something that you felt stuck with. There is something that you've hidden, or you are hiding behind something. And ever since, like I said, I've reinforced that belief. I've worked with my voice and I've realized how it matters. Spoken, written, or whether it's a body language, makes no difference. I've healed my vocal cords. And I was like, how can that happen? Is it actually possible to heal your voice? Yes, it is. Obviously, when you realize the benefits of healing your voice, not only do you have confidence in your own words to begin with, um, your presence is different. You are confident within your body. Body language is a thing. Writing your I've noticed that I get a lot of messages from people that what I've just wrote, said, inspires. Um, I've I've got I've got invited to TV 3 times ever since started with heart healing and healing my voice wound and working on that. I've been asked to speak at TED Talk. It's in Polish, so it's called TEDx, but it's still going to be viewed on TED Talk website, which is fantastic. So I'll be doing that at the end of the year, and my expression became a lot more authentic, and it builds trust. Why? Because people actually relate to me. Why? Because for a change, when I speak, I'm not trying to be someone else in my voice, in my presence. They know that it's me. They know that what I say is as honest as it gets. And obviously, my natural charisma became a lot more approachable. People love it. People are drawn to it. And the funny thing is, I do get a lot of compliments about my voice these days. The people love my energy and they love listening to my voice. The same voice that I used to hate, the same what I say, how I say it, they go like, oh my God, I can listen to you for hours. The voice that I used to hate. Imagine I've run a business online for many, many years without once listening to what I've recorded. I do record a weekly predictions on YouTube. They're about an hour long every week. And guess what? I've never listened to either one of those. I knew what I was saying, but I've never listened. But most importantly, I've started to like my voice. I actually like how I sound. On top of that, it has opened the doors to become a leader. What I mean by that is that not only did I train several new astrologers, I became quite popular, obviously, over the years. I've got more influence. People like to work with me. But I became one of the, quite often referred to as one of the best astrologers because of how I share my knowledge. And I've trained several astrologers, and I'm continuing to do that this year as well. But now, not only did I train them, but I teach them how they can release any wounds, any blockages to become a business owner, to become a person of change themselves. I've become a leader to others. I lead people because they want to follow by my example. I don't force them. It's not like I have to enforce anything onto them. They want to be a part of my story. They want to be a part of who I am. They want to be a part of me. And obviously, ever since my sales went up, like I said, I do run a business. People connect with what I say. They like to listen to what I say. They completely have a different approach to me. My visibility grows. So I don't feel like I'm blending in anymore. I am the voice of change. And I do get invited to a lot of new chances, networking, like I said, TEDx now, speaking at social events. It just keeps on growing. The list is getting stronger and stronger. And I did notice that my relationships become much better. Even today, this is the first time I do have a best friend. And guess what? I've never actually called her a best friend till today. I felt she is my best friend, and she felt she is my best friend, but I've never actually said it out loud. And I said to her, guess what? You know what? This is probably the first time that I am capable of saying, you are my best friend. You are the person that I turn to, that I love to speak to. And you are the person that I can listen to and would love to be listened to by. And you start becoming you. And like I said, from healing to popularity, I became popular. I've got, like I said, a huge channel of people working with me. People do listen to what when I speak, and like I said, my words inspire action. I do get hundreds of messages of people saying that they love to listen. I inspire them. They want to be like me, and it has nothing to do with fame in general. Yes, I have been approached and I have been asked to be on national TV, which is absolutely fine, but it's not a fame in the fame type of word. It's being popular amongst those people that actually value and remember what you have to share. So the group that is working with me, the group of people that watch me, are those people that respect me and do value my opinion and my presence. They do have respect for me. So a lot of people do experience a lot of hatred. And obviously, with the business that I have, bear in mind, I am an astrologer, and I do run a business that teaches people how to run spiritual businesses. Can be frowned upon in Poland. It is a Catholic country by 95%. So I think we're still in the Middle Ages, but nevertheless, it's still being quite frowned upon. Whereas in my case, yes, I've had few experiences, but compared to other people, I have not been really a subject to a massive amount of hate like people do. Why? Because they feel that they can respect me, because it's what I share, it's not a copy of somebody else's work. It's also my opinion and a practical approach. And they love that. They love the fact that I've got so much more to say. So if I was to say to you, what is the most important thing to yourself? Your voice is your greatest tool of influence, for influence. So when you start healing your voice, not only does it allow you to expand business, it allows you to expand social circuits, but it allows you to actually go into places that you have not been before. And when you speak up, when you heal your voice, not only does it allow you to write, like in my case, being a part of the book that I never thought that I would do. that I would ever publish anything. I've actually created a lot of ebooks ever since, and I am in the process of creating another ebook for the part of my business, for the new part of a business. So once you start attracting people that want to be led by you. You start to achieve your success and popularity, but not popularity in the sense of fame, but popularity about those people that want to listen to you. So your target audience grows. Why? Because they feel that your words, not only do they change their lives, but they heal their lives. And you become more true, not only with yourself, but also with others. So it allows you to expand your business even further. So remember, when you heal your voice, you heal your impact. Not only do you heal just your voice, it actually allows you to heal all the other levels of your business. I am currently in the process of building a strong society of women, especially women who are working within spiritual businesses, women that work with Reiki, women that work with tarot, not only women, men as well, but obviously my business is mostly targeted at women. Those that do see that spirituality has a part in today's work, that life is not all about science, but there is more to it. So those that work with crystals, and those that actually want to create a business like my own, those that actually want to create a business like my own, those that actually want to work in a business where they can gain ideas, they can heal, but they can also gain knowledge of how to start that business. So I teach them how to heal themselves, but also teach them how they can implement my knowledge and build a business of my size themselves. Only last year, I've had 12,000 clients working with me. 12,000, which was like, well, that was 11,000 more than a year before. So I just kept on growing. That's what I'm saying. It grows even bigger and bigger. I have impact over most. I've got clients from all over the world at the moment. I haven't even counted from where they are, but I've got clients from all over the world working with me, understanding that a spiritual business can allow them to be independent and free. Because quite often, when you think about a business, when you think about work, about being popular and actually earning money that you want, you think, "Oh my God, in spiritual businesses, and how that's not going to happen?" Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If you heal your voice, if you start speaking from your heart, if you start showing your knowledge, everything that you've got from within, it does work. When you are true to yourself, when you are true to your words, when you feel that your words can heal and help others, when you start seeing that the way you speak and the way you work with people and how you approach them and what you actually say to them inspires them for action, you do see that your work has an impact. And when it has impact, people will be working with you. They will pay you. So obviously during that course of action, which is, I mean, the new cohort will be starting in January. So if you'd like to join me in the future working on that project, it's going to be a 6-month program that starts on the 10th of January on my birthday. When I will be working with people trying to build businesses, especially those that have spiritual businesses already and they can't reach those numbers that I did. And obviously you're more than welcome to use the sign up page for that. It was a pleasure to speak to you. Hopefully I will be able to at some point in my life meet you, and we can discuss anything further. But like I said, trust me, you can heal your voice. You can heal your voice, you can heal your impact and become the powerful person that you've always meant to be. So I'd like to wish you all the best. I do hope that you're going to enjoy the summit and you're going to meet fantastic people as well. And all the best. Bye.